All right, we are back with another video suggestion from our Discord.
That's right.
We are giving you late round Dynasty startup sleepers for the 2022 startup drafts. Shout out to Smoke, D-Smoke. I don't know if you guys watched that Netflix show or not. Anyway, shout out to Smoke. He said, and this is over on Discord, could you guys do a video on late round startup draft values, specifically guys after the first 10 rounds are over? Okay, so again, if you guys want to suggest content ideas, the link to our Discord is in the description. And go check out the suggest content text channel where you can, maybe we'll do a video if you submit your idea. So shout out to Smoke. So we are going to give you 2 players each. Both of these players are going well beyond or, after the 10th round of startup drafts. And we think that they could be really good value for where they're going in these startup drafts, okay? So I'm going to give you my first player, and that's Rashad Penny, okay? So let's talk about where he is going in startups. In our community startup mocks, okay, so I looked at the past 3 mocks that we've done, the most recent ones, so I could be as accurate as possible. Last week, he was a 13.3, okay, 13th round, 3rd pick. That had him as an RB40 drafted there, okay? The week before that, he was a 12-7, and he was the running back 42. The week before that, he was the 11-12, and he was the running back 40.
Right.
Okay, so based on the current trend, he's actually been falling in ADP every week in our community for whatever reason. I'm not sure. Okay, so he is currently my running back 29 in my Dynasty rankings. All right, I haven't added the rookies just yet, so there will be some rookies ahead of him for sure. He could end up around running back 32 to 34, somewhere around there. Maybe not that low, but to be honest, I think the 10th round is exactly where I'm comfortable taking Rashad Penny. I am a massive late RB believer in Dynasty startup drafts. And that has to do with my philosophy around the longevity of running backs in Dynasty formats, okay? I would much rather load up on young, elite wide receivers and quarterbacks, in those first 9 rounds, in the first 5 rounds at least, right? Then go running back early, just because if you look historically, running backs, the longevity of them being fantasy relevant in the league is much, much shorter on a timeline compared to quarterbacks and wide receivers, right? So Penny to me feels like a really, really good target for that kind of strategy. And I still think that there's good value here, okay? Number one, he has a chance to be a starting running back next year and beyond, okay, for the Seahawks. The Seahawks declined his 5th-year option, but after the performance he put on last year, they want him back. So he could be back in Seattle. In my opinion, the most likely scenario is he gets a 1-year prove-it deal in Seattle. But even if he doesn't, you have to think, the free agency has changed people's minds. What did everyone say about James Conner last year? He's done. He's washed. There's no reason to even sign him. He goes out and he signs a 1-year deal with the Cardinals and absolutely balls out because he was put in a good situation. So even if he leaves Seattle, maybe he's put in a good situation. Again, these are guys in the 10th round and beyond that there is a lot of risk. So let's say he comes back to Seattle. I think there's a real chance he's the starting running back in front of Carson, because that neck injury is absolutely no joke for a running back's career over there with Carson. Agreed. And he showed some flashes in 2021. Okay, we saw finally why he was a first-round pick by the Seahawks in 2018. It made a ton of sense when you saw him finally healthy, doing his thing, and he won so many people fantasy championships this year. I mean, he was probably the hero of so many fantasy championship teams over there in 2021. So let's look at weeks 13 to 18. I mean, this is a 6-game span. This isn't just 1 week, 2 weeks. Weeks 13 to 18. He was the running back 1 in fantasy. There was not a more valuable running back from weeks 13 to 18. Averaging 117 yards per game on 6.9 yards per attempt, 17 carries per game, and he had 6 touchdowns in that span. He looked like an elite running back. I mean, you could see the combination of explosiveness, speed, strength. It made sense why they drafted him where they drafted him. The injuries have just been so unfortunate for his career. So for me, look, there's no guarantee that Penny's a starter ever again. There's no guarantee. I'm very aware of that. Okay. However, I think the risk reward factor is huge with Penny here. I'm okay to lose a 10th, 11th, 12th round selection to take a chance on maybe my RB2 or 3, right? So typically I go, obviously I want to get 2 quarterbacks early on, and I want to get my elite wide receivers. So I'm okay to take a chance on Penny as my second, third running back. And I think it's much easier to trade for running backs and build for running backs through the draft than it is to spend that early capital on them. So I like Penny as a good late round startup sleeper. Who is your first one, Badake?
Yeah, my first late round sleeper or guy that you should target is Cole Kmet, tight end, Chicago Bears. And I did the same thing like Zach did, and I looked at our community startups the past 3 weeks. So last week, he went in at the 11th round, 11th pick, a tight end 13. The week before, 13th round, 3rd pick, tight end 13 as well. And then the week before that, 12th spot, 7th pick, or 12th round, 7th pick. 12th round, 7th pick, right? Tight end 14.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's kind of been averaging that area there for me. And for me, I think that's comfortable. Tight end 12 for me, tight end 12 to 13, that's comfortable. I would take him as high as round 9, in my opinion. That's where I'm comfortable taking a tight end, 9 to 10, just depending on who's on the board. Where is everything falling? If nobody
I don't think
else,
you'd have to take him that high, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think he could fall, and I think the situation is going to change as we get closer and closer to the season potentially. So look, if you know me, I'm not a huge fan of taking tight ends really early, and really I'm not a huge fan of taking Kyle Pitts or Mark Andrews from rounds 1 to 4.
Why we gotta include Kyle Pitts in this? Come on.
I said Kyle Pitts and Mark Andrews.
No, I know.
Look, for me, it's just like, I get it. I get maybe you just want to solidify your tight end position, set and forget, don't worry about it. But I think the value that's there around from the first, because Kyle Pitts can go from the first to the second, and Mark Andrews can go from earliest 3rd to the 4th. For me, I think the position's there, and the value there is so too crucial that I don't think I would want to, not waste, but I don't want to use one of those picks on a tight end. So I like to go a late tight end strategy, and I can get, the Dawson Knox, the Cole Kmets, the Dalton Schultz, those type of guys, and see what I can do throughout the season. And we saw that this past year with all these sleeper guys, all these guys we didn't think to kind of be successful was a top 5, top 6, top 10 tight end. And the tight end position is so up and down that I think we can take a chance there because we just never know what's going to happen. So, the reason why we should really get him, because I saw some good things like this past year. Okay. Obviously the stats doesn't say that he was an amazing tight end, but the situation, okay. Fields will be a starter. Will be the starter moving into the 2020 season. Okay. New head coach staff. Cole Kmet is on the field for 83% of the time, okay? So he ran the most routes by far by anyone on the team. Darnell Mooney, Allen Robinson, all these guys. He was top 6 in deep targets among tight ends as well, and then top 15 in red zone targets among tight ends. He is a guy that they're going to continue to get the ball to. They're going to continue to grow. They're going to continue to mesh in with Justin Fields and this chemistry. So if I was you, why not take him? Unless... Reminder, they do not have a first round pick in this 2022 class. So I think they will probably go defensive in round 2, and maybe they do get a wide receiver. Maybe they do trade for or pick up Amari Cooper or something like that. But I think Cole Kmet is going to be a vital piece to this offense moving forward. So I like Cole Kmet moving forward. He's going to be a great late round asset.
Yeah, I'm all aboard Cole Kmet, but I will not accept any Kyle Pitts slander. Okay, I will not accept it on this channel.
I love Kyle Pitts. I love him. Just can't
look. I'll just say one quick thing. I know this isn't even about Kyle Pitts, but if anyone is judging their perspective, I'm not saying you are, but if anyone out there is judging their perspective on Kyle Pitts from his rookie season, you're doing it all wrong. Okay. I still think Kyle Pitts is a great value in the second round. One of the most impossible players to trade for in any dynasty leagues, but. I just wanted to quickly say that, and I also wanted to quickly endorse the Cole Kmet take because I do like Cole Kmet, and I am aboard that take. All right, my last late round sleeper.
Talk it up.
Is DJ Chark. Okay. In our latest startup drafts, okay. Again, I looked at that. I wanted to try and be as accurate as possible. So we do these drafts with our community. Last week, he was the 14-9. He was a wide receiver 67 drafted off the board. The week before that, he was a 12-3, the wide receiver 58 off the board. And the week before that, the 13-7, wide receiver 61 off the board. So for me, he is currently my wide receiver 50. Now, you have to keep in mind, we have not implemented the rookies into those main rankings just yet. So I do think he's probably going to fall to the 60s, to be honest. There is definitely at least 10 wide receivers I prefer over him. So he will be in the 60s. However, I still believe the 13th round, where he's going around that round 13, is ideal value for a guy in DJ Chark.
Yeah.
Have to keep in mind, situation is going to be changing this year. He is a free agent. Fractured his ankle in week 4 of the 2021 season. He's now a free agent this offseason. He could return to Jacksonville, maybe. I mean, there's definitely some chemistry that was shown between him and Trevor Lawrence early on in the season. Or maybe he moves on and he's a good complementary wide receiver on a different team. But we're talking about a wide receiver who already has proven production. Okay, we have seen it before from DJ Chark. Okay, don't forget the 2019 season with Gardner Minshew. Okay, he was the wide receiver 17 that year, 73 catches, over 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. Okay, he showed a lot of promise in 2019, and I heard a lot of big name fantasy community people claiming him to be a top 10 wide receiver in 2020.
Oh my goodness.
Didn't work out.
No.
Didn't work out. We weren't that high on him, but still, I think right now there is like his value's at a real low because of what happened this season, because of the injury, because of, the Jags as a whole, I think. So you look at the next year in 2020, everyone was hyped on him. I mean, it was a combination of Gardner, Mike Glennon, Jake Luton. Those were all his starting quarterbacks. It was a mess. It was truly a mess that year. But at the end of the day, I go back to who is DJ Chark as a weapon? What is he in the NFL? It's not easy to find this type of talent. Okay, I do think he's going to be a sought-after free agent in this class. He is 6'3", 200 pounds. Ideal size for an outside wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Good speed, has shown he can win one-on-ones, has reliable hands, and he's only 25 years old. He will be 26 in September. So this is a player who I think has the talent to be a top 25, top 30 wide receiver in fantasy. It might not be on a consistent basis, but if he's put in the right position, I think we could be talking about DJ Chark next year on a new team in a very different light. So I think he becomes a really good value here in, round 14, 13. So I like DJ Chark here as a good buy low in those rounds. Who's your last one?
My last guy, a guy that I've been praising, I've been seeing kind of going up and down because people like to snipe him, and that's Nico Collins. I really like Nico Collins. This past year, kind of saw what he did just a little bit. Wasn't crazy, but I think moving forward, there's going to be some great things. He's kind of averaging, around 13, 14 in our community, from wide receiver 49 all the way to wide receiver 66. There's a big gap for Nico, just really depending on who really believes in him. Yeah. And I'm somebody that I believe in Nico Collins. Mm-hmm. He's currently my wide receiver 48. Okay. And that's above a lot of people. That's pretty high, in my opinion, for a guy like Nico Collins. So I'm just telling you that how invested I am in Nico Collins. Right. And I believe he could be a wide receiver 1 moving forward. Looking at some of these deep dive, looking at Nico, I think you should really go ahead and stash him. This is someone I believe that you should keep an eye out in year 2, especially moving forward, because there's going to be more stability going forward with the Texans. Hopefully the Deshaun Watson nonsense is gone. It's just a clean slate for this whole team. Okay, but let's look at what he can do and his values, okay? His age and body, 6'4", 250 pounds, good hands, only 22 years old right now. Will be 23 in the 2022 year, okay? It kind of like a DJ Chark type feel. He's not as fast as DJ Chark, but a little bit bigger. I feel like the build is similar. They're both long and tall and lanky. DJ Chark is a lot faster, and he's proven, okay? DJ Chark has proven where Nico isn't, okay? So let's look at his situation. The biggest situation is who's his quarterback? Davis Mills. And if you're not a believer in Davis Mills, which I am, I do believe Davis Mills is going to continue to improve year in and year out, hopefully. And if they don't move on with Davis Mills after 2022, there is hope. Because if this team is no longer good after 2022 and Davis Mills is not the answer, you hope that they get one of these young quarterbacks coming in the 2023 class. get him now, stash him now, maybe put him on your taxi for a year, or maybe, put him on your bench and one of your top guys gets hurt. Nico Collins can be that guy that can fit in for the 2-3 weeks your guy's hurt.
Yeah.
I really like Nico Collins. I'm banking on the situation, the athleticism and age that Nico is going to bring. If you look at his highlights, he looks strong, physical. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that can be played anywhere on the outside and in the slot, which they did do here at the Texans. So moving forward, I think you guys should really just keep an eye out on. I think because I do believe he's going to be overlooked. His ADP is really low on sleeper, unless there's somebody in your league that's going to really say, you know what? Oh, let me scroll and look for Nico. That's me. I'm the guy that scrolls and looks for Nico and takes him in the 13th round. And be like, okay, I'd rather just get him now and set and forget it. So Nico Collins is a guy for me.
Yeah, I like Nico. I was trying to look at his splits with Davis Mills and without Davis Mills. I think, towards the end of the year, he would look like he was a little bit on the rise.
Yeah.
So it's good to know that kind of correlated with Davis. So I like it. Nico's an interesting, the body and the size you can't really disagree with.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Should we do this again? Let us know. Do you like any of these? Do you dislike them? I have more values I like, to be honest. There was plenty of people for me to choose from. So we could do another video like this. Let us know in the comments below.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch
now,
it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.